Anyone else having trouble here with that? All right, give me 1 second and we'll get started. All right. So I'll be talking about the JCore Open Platform today. My name is Kenneth Gleason. I am the Senior Product Manager for JCore. I have been at HighWire for about 2.5 to 3 months at this point, but I've been working in the scholarly industry, scholarly publishing industry, for the last 8 years. So I'm actually fairly well versed on this market. I've worked with a lot of the same companies that HighWire works with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a walkthrough. I know that we have some time constraints here. Sorry about the technical difficulties. So I am going to go ahead and get started. So starting off with the simplest of what is JCore? Well, JCore is the open platform that we use for publishing content for some of the biggest journals in the world. It allows publishers to repurpose, integrate, and monetize content within their HighWire hosted publications. So on our website, and I'm pulling this information directly from our website for a purpose, is you'll start to see things like open platform. And as you know, this presentation is about JCore. Well, they're actually the same thing. JCore is the open platform, and so a lot of people do this when they have the question of what's the difference. Externally, we'll talk about it as an open platform. Internally, we talk about it as JCore, and a lot of our customers know it as JCore. So if you hear those things, they're pretty interchangeable. For the most part, you'll hear JCore. So we've got open platform meaning open source, so we're using open source technology, and we allow a lot of options and flexibility, and so it's adaptable to our publishers' needs and our readers' demands. It's built on the Drupal content management system, which is really nice because it allows us to leverage the development community that's out there for Drupal. And there's a lot of different modules out there. For example, we have a module for Google Tag Manager, so we can easily track events, and we don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting for building. It also allows us to really work with the community and develop Drupal as a whole and build new modules and things like that. The other aspect is it allows you to provide self-service tools through already sort of developed user interfaces so that we can actually give some self-service and some management so that we won't have to have a lot of demand for little changes from support. So let me walk you through the lineage of JCore. And this is a sort of a history lesson in HighWire. And this is actually really important because how we built JCore was based on the knowledge that we've learned over the years. HighWire was the first platform was H1O. So it was made in the mid to late 1990s. So it was pretty revolutionary. It got a lot of great journals online. However, when it was time to upgrade, because as we know, websites from the 90s into the mid 2000s changed quite a bit, H2O came around. It was more or less a clever name based around the Web 2.0 trend that's sort of disappeared behind the scenes now at this point. But it was a reliable platform that actually is still around today. We actually have about 143 journals on H2O currently. And the reason we wanted to start shifting away from it, though, is beyond the technologies, is we wanted this more easy to customize, support, and integrate with platform, which is now JCore. And JCore came around in about 2013, and it was built on everything that we've learned over the years from platforms. So it integrated all our deep knowledge and what the best of the features were that were being used, and also allowed HighWire to start building more and more features quicker than they would have been able to previously. All right, so I talked a lot. There, and but the question is what does it do? Well, JCore is the front end for our journal publishing software, and it publishes and hosts and offers a ton of different services that are really at the top of the industry for some of the finest journals in the world. And you can see here, we've got the BMJ Journal, Science, and the Journal of the American Heart. They all look very different. So it is a extremely flexible platform. It can offer endless customizations, as well as, we have a really expert design core template that we're constantly working on so that we can offer really the best design to our journal publishers. So we'll talk a little bit about the customizations in the coming slides, but really it's very flexible, as you can just see from these two. We have a basic BMJ journal on the side, on the left-hand side. Then we have Science on the right. The one on the left is our standard JCore sort of layout, and then on the right we have our full-blown customized Science site. All right, so we're going to do a walkthrough so you get an idea of the features that are in JCore. So let's go ahead and start. I wanted to talk about the design philosophy around JCore. And these are sort of like what we've learned from H2O and where we want to go with the product. Really, for usability, we really want to boost discovery. We work a lot, as I said, we work a lot with Google, and we want to like the top of the industry in search engine optimization. We have an extremely tight relationship with Google Scholar, so we're always working to improve. We are working to increase traffic to journals, increase engagement, improve navigation, and that's a constant drive for us, as well as add configurability and the ability to self-service the journal. On the design side of things, we want to be clear and clean. It's easy to use and provide readers with browse options so they can stay on the page and make it really sticky. We also offer a flexible layout and opportunities to monetize, which we'll walk through, as well as room to grow. So as the publishing program grows for a publisher, they can add new features and new designs and new things like that. All right, so I'm going to walk through the overall site elements of JCore. So the basic design is a two-column design, and you'll see this throughout the site. It's really designed for reading and scanning. There's, you can see on the left, we have a high level or the journal level site, and then we go down to the table of contents, and they follow the similar layout. And the information is optimized for making sure that you get the most important information at the top. So at the header, and these pages that I'm about to describe, or sections I should say, are uniform throughout the journal. So, and then we'll talk more about the articles and the different themes we have. So we actually have the site header area. We have our drop-down menu where you can actually add links to different journals right there. We have a social icon so that you can have your social media presence available. And then we also have our logout menu and login menu right there at the top. So our branding area is we have lots of room for branding, as you can see from our examples of for BMJ and science, but you have lots of room for branding. Even on the basic side, we have very large logos, very optimized, and it gives the look and feel of the publisher. We have a quick search box right there at the top that's always available that you can find what you're looking for. And we even have a menu area that's constant across the pages with all the drop downs you need. And then we have our what we call a snippet, and this is an example of a announcement snippet where a publisher can actually edit this and add information about upcoming events or calls for papers, things like that. So that's fully customizable, and we'll actually walk through what it looks like to edit a snippet. The footer, and this is a very important part of the page we found by doing a lot of research about how people navigate the sites. It's very rich. It's like a mini site navigation menu that allows people to find. They didn't find what they were looking for. They can find it here. We did a lot of heat map reviews and also looked at Google Analytics to see how people were using the site. We found that if they didn't find it immediately, they went to the footer and were actively using these footer pages. So, this is actually a nice, rich component of the site as well. You'll notice, and this is a part of the monetization. I actually wanted to have, some money dropping down from the screen in the slide, but that would have ended up taking too much work here. But this is like a standard ad placement here. We have the leaderboard, and these are, advertisements owned by the publisher, so they're able to monetize content. So this is just two examples of a leaderboard. It's right above the journal branding. You'll see this a lot on JCore sites. And also, we also have the skyscraper ads, and you'll see these on table of contents. You'll see these on articles, and these are the sidebar underneath our jump to generally. And JCore is very flexible, so you'll probably see this ad in different areas for different journals, but it's consistently on the right-hand sidebar. Okay, so those are the sort of main elements that you'll see throughout the site, but here's some key pages that I want to walk through. We have a nice little diagram here. As you can see, JCore is got a lot of different pages. I mean, if you think of it as, showing off your entire journal and you're highlighting your publisher and things like that, there's a lot of different pages here. But we're going to walk through some of the key ones, and so that you get an idea of the different pages as we walk through the site. So there's three standard options, and we'll discuss the different customizations levels in the coming slides, but I want to walk through what our standard JCore flavors look like. So we'll start with, we have the first flavor, we have more info about the journal. So we have our current issue, and then we have about, information about the journal. And so it highlights really the journal itself, and this could be good for a journal that's relatively new or trying to highlight some of their editorial aspects, things like that. Now we have the second flavor is highlighting new content. So we have our published ahead of print. We're highlighting the current issue, and it's really content focused. So when you're trying to highlight, what's new, and if you're, consistently printing ahead of print or a continuous publication, you want to sort of use this theme. And this one is a very common one, and it's and I think it follows the more modern trends of web design, is our visual impact. It allows you to have slides to have announcements or new content, highlights aspects of the journal, and it's got a you can actually scroll through and see the different slides, and it's also got a it's automated, so it'll go through them as you're on the page. You also have the current issue again, and then you have underneath it you can have the content. So if you wanted to have a combination of new content as well as like highlights about the journal, this is our third flavor. All right, so I'm next going to jump to a table of contents. So let's say we moved into looking at an issue. Now we have our table of contents. It's really designed for scannability. There's no repetitive text or links or checkboxes. These are kind of things that have been in journals in the past. And this was all done from research that was done by John Sack back before we really built the platform, or when we were starting to think about a new platform, is trying to understand exactly the needs out there for readers and researchers so that we could highlight the most important information and really engage them and not send them off into a myriad of different links and checkboxes and things like that. We also have our icon. You'll see on the right-hand side, you see these lock links that are the left-hand side of the article title. You have the lock, so that's defining that it's openly available. If there's a lock, then we also have it a closed access or subscription controlled. And then on the right, we have the sort of same two-column layout where we're highlighting the issue, and then we have these floating jump tos that you'll see when we send out examples of JCore sites that we have the jump list that floats. And then on the right, you also see a skyscraper ad. All right, and this is probably what I consider one of the most important aspects of the publishing platform is the article. This has been a highly optimized page where we prioritize the information really to highlight the most important aspect. It's focused on readability. You can see under the title and DOI we have our different tabs. So we've really organized the information so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. So you have articles, figures and data, info and metrics, and then e-letters, which are responses to this article. And then we see the right-hand column on the side. Throughout the article, you'll see different tools that you can use. One of the examples is we have highlighted author information, which is really cool, because you can have links to the author's Google Scholar, their author on PubMed, as well as searching within the site for the author. And if there's an ORCID ID, we can actually have that there too. It's a very cool, nice way to highlight authors and find more of the works they're doing. On the right-hand side, there's a couple of great tools, and we'll start on the subjects on the right-hand side. We have our subjects with specific collections they're tagged in. And then we also have the accordion related articles, articles that cite this, and then also more in this table of contents section and similar articles. On the left-hand side, we have our article toolbox. This is a very heavily used feature. It allows you to download the PowerPoint, or the PDF, for example, is more a prominent example. You can email, you can locate your citation tools, and you can also sign up for alerts and respond. Then we have our social icons that allow you to quickly share or save. And then on the article tab, we actually have our whole sections here where we can actually jump to, and you see this is as I'm scrolling through this article, on the right-hand side, that jump to list is sticky, so it allows you to easily access different aspects of the page. We also highlight citations so that you can hover over and get the citation and download it. We have our keywords also in the page, as well as figures that are in line with the article, and it's a really nice experience. And in just a moment, I'll show you that you can also get to the figures through the Figures and Data tab, because figures are very popular and people want to jump through. And as we watched people using heat maps, we were able to see that as people scrolled, they would stop at different figures. So here's an example of what I was talking about, where we have our Figures and Data tab. So you can see all the figures that are used throughout the article, and then you can download them and open a new tab, things like that. It actually allows you to very quickly see what else is in this article based on the data. Info and metrics, we actually have article publication information and author information, so print ISSN, different author affiliations. But we can also display download data and page view data. So we can do full text reads, and we have PDF downloads, as well as abstract views. And then we can chart that and show that off here. Also on this tab, we'll find one of our integrations for data. It's one of the big ones is all metrics, so we'll show that here also. We have a full advanced search. It's very robust. We have all sorts of data we can use, dates, titles, abstracts, citation information, DOIs, and you even now have figure search available. So you have a really nice set of tools throughout your journal to be able to search. So you can start at the simple search and then refine into the advanced, as well as just reach and go straight to the advanced search if you're looking for something very, very specific. Search results, they have listed and they're paginated. We have our publication dates, facets, our article types, resource types. So our facets are on the right, results on the left, and then you can change the display by results on the page or best match to be different publication date. So our search is a great way to find more resources. So I talked a little bit about how we used Drupal, and that allowed us to build self-service features as well as allow people to manage the site themselves. We're also continuously building self-service features, and I wanted to walk through actually a couple of how they work. So we have our site admin navigation bar. When you log in as an administrator, you'll actually see this bar at the top of the page, and you can access different components of the site. So it's based on privilege, and then you can have different areas that you can edit. And so let me walk through some of the big ones. So here's an example of the front end of a menu. And this menu is fully editable, so you can go through and actually change locations, change pages, add new pages. And that's done from our menu management system. As you can see, we have our drag and drop. You can edit where the pages go. You can add new links. And you can actually remove them and change the whole menu layout of the page. And this is fantastic especially if somebody's adding a new page and they want to be able to highlight it within the menu, or if they're removing an outdated page, they can do that very easily. So there's no reason to call for help on this one because they actually have access. Here's an example of what it looks like to actually edit. So you'll see that you can change the URL path, you can change the parent, you can change the style, you can do lots of stuff here. Nodequeues, and this is a fun word, and this is one I had to learn when I first joined. And so we actually have the ability to edit what is a Drupal name, which is Nodequeues. These are just lists of things. So if you see on the left-hand side, here's a live example of what it would look like. You can actually change the order of the top topics, and when you update it, it will actually update the front of the site. So you can change all the orders there. Let's see here. And I might start moving a little quick, and if I start skipping slides, it's because it's running towards the end of the hour, and I want to give a little time for questions. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties. So we have our snippets here. As you can see, this is a way that you can actually highlight the different announcements you want to add on your page. And then on the right-hand side, you'll notice that you can hover over and then edit snippet, and so that you can add that text. And when you click edit snippet, you're taken to this page where you can actually fully manage and save, and then even preview what it will look like. That's a very popular one. So I'm going to skip over a couple things, but I do want to go next to what it looks like for JCore integrations. So JCore is really a product ecosystem for publishers, and meaning that HighWire has additional add-on products that you can use to sort of build out your publishing program online, as well as we integrate with a number of different services. So we start there. Here's a small list of our complementary products, and we offer even more. But we have BenchPress, so it's full submission management and peer review. And BenchPress has been a big part of HighWire's history, and it is an excellent tool for managing submissions and then submitting content through. We have our custom collection toolkit where you can reuse different aspects of the content to build collections based on specific topics, or for if it's for events, things like that. We have e-commerce suite, which is Graham Stewart's product, and he's over in Belfast, where you can actually sell and monetize your articles for non-subscribers. We have Folio, which is our books platform. And then we have our visors that really give you some great insight into your publishing program. And they can give you early citation information, hot articles. They can give you how it's being used by libraries and when the libraries were turned away because of access issues. So it gives you a really rich view. And we'll probably have more on that in a different presentation. Can't dive into all these right now. But we have quite a bit, and I can send some links at the end so that you can read a little bit more. And integrations. We integrate with a lot of places, and I like that Google is right in the middle here. We do a lot of work with Google to make sure that we're optimized. But some of the new ones, we have QDOS, and we have ReadCube, and some of the ones that we've had for a bit longer. So we're really integrated with Crossref, and we're working with Pre and Altmetric and Glencoe for video. So we do a lot of integrations, and this isn't all of them. This is just an example. So it's something that we really want to be on the forefront of for our publishers. But also we want to integrate with places that really are going to get use. So what powers JCore? Behind the scenes, we have, well, you can see right here, here's our technology stack. We have our front-end display, which is JCore. And that's just a small component of what's happening. Behind the scenes, we have a lot of things happening. So our content, any of the journal content, is going to come through what we call HighWire Express down here at the content repository. It's going to come in through HighWire Express, and it's going to get semantically tagged and analyzed and ready for publication. And it's going to get moved up into JCore after it's finally done and the publisher is ready to publish. So its content flows there and then up to JCore. And then we have tools for search and our services and feature. We have user access, so we have full access control and management. And then we have services for RSS, alerts, and metadata delivery, and as well as library administrator functions. We have quite, like as I said, we have quite a bit of features, and a lot of it is, I've talked about its front end, but we have a lot happening behind the scenes, and our excellent development team does a great job making sure that these are up and running and really at a excellent reliability level. So, reliability for 2016. Unfortunately, I think most of you were in the meeting yesterday, so you probably heard it. So there's probably no need for a drum roll. I just wanted to put Bart Simpson in the slides because why not? So it was 99.96% uptime, which is huge. That puts us above Google Cloud and Amazon's services. So it was actually one of our great weaknesses because historically we had a downtime that really affected a number of our publishers, especially the larger ones. And so we wanted to make sure that we were reliable and had an amazing uptime, and so that we can provide readers and researchers as well as publishers with the absolute tools and at all times. So now we're really the leaders in this world of uptime. And so, Freddie Mercury here is really celebrating. Behind the scenes, we also have our JCore Reporting and Management Admin Center. It's called MAINT, if you heard that, meaning maintenance, M-A-I-N-T. You can access a lot of different information here. And there's even some webinars. When I send out a link to the community, you can even see a webinar that Jim did on the marketing toolkit. It's got a lot of information, but some of the main ones, you're going to see Subscription Manager. You're going to see reporting features. So you can get total usage reports. You can article usage by the month. And then you can get most frequent, even IP addresses. So it's a really rich tool. These interfaces look a little old because some of these come from even our H1O days, some of the data sources too. They're still up and running. But, as we build out visors and different reporting features and visualizations, we'll look to sort of how to standardize these across the board. And here's an example of what a report would look like. And here's an ability to create custom reports. So you can see where you can choose different months, and then it'll run in the background. You'll get notified by email. All right, the business side. So this is an important one. The 3 sites I told you about, the 3 examples at closer to the beginning, were the 3 standard base JCore designs. When you're at that, you're sort of at the base level of what JCore can do. You have, a full set of features, and it's just more based around, keeping things standardized, keeping the design standard, but having your branding, and also not a lot of complex changes and integrations and things like that. Next up, we have a sort of a customized or even a larger JCore. Prices tend to rise because of the customizations, or if we're doing a really big publisher with these large journals, lots of back content, lots of maybe some needs for some specific branding customizations, the prices will continue up from there. And then we have a fully customized, or even our codev sites, and codev with like BMJ and AAAS. For our large publishers, so we really want a full experience, and also maybe the ability to, build their own tools and integrations. For example, with BMJ, actually added hypothesis annotation on their own. And there's another couple of costs there. We have additional costs for new publishers coming on, where they have setup costs and content conversion. Which is very time-consuming, but we've actually done a really great job making the content conversion a much more successful part of the process. And then additional journals, as publishers grow and add more journals, they will actually be able to add new journals at a lower cost. So some of our competitors. Well, the top 2 are really the main 2 competitors for JCore. And we have Adapon and their Literatum platform. We're about neck and neck in the market with. We sort of, it's one of those companies that you'll end up trading back and forth for customers. And we're actually working to, in the product department, to find the features and tools that publishers need that are really, leapfrog Adapon, and we've done a lot of comparative analysis, and we're continuing with that. We also have Silverchair on the right. They are out of North Carolina, and they have been around for a number of years, but a smaller group of publishers there, but also a main competitor, because we find that our customers are become interested in their services. We have Ingenta. They have Ingenta Drive, Ingenta Connect, and they highlight a different market than we've been able to reach in the past, in which we're looking forward to addressing through potentially the Commons project we're working on that Dan was showing off yesterday, and we'll have more information on that soon. We also have O'Reilly's Safari Hub Factory. They actually host a large number of journals. It's sort of a standalone site. We don't see a lot of our journals going there, but they do offer services that meet some of the smaller publishers' needs. All right. So where else can I find info? And when we send out the slides, we actually have a great product wiki that has some really good examples and descriptions of the product. And then we also have our community forum, where we'll have videos and things like that, so that you can actually watch presentations about different of these different aspects of the products that I've talked about, sort of the complementary products and also other JCore features. We can also get release notes and things like that, so if you want to see what's been happening. So I gave you about 2 minutes for questions. And I apologize for that, but we can also feel free to stick around and ask more questions as necessary, but I'll be glad to answer. And also, if you feel free to shoot me an email, and I can answer that way too.
So if you want to submit your questions via the we will try and ignore the reverb and answer. Okay, so the first question is, how is content loaded?
Content is loaded through HighWire Express. It's added through sort of like the XML, and it's organized in a specific way that we actually have fully documented, and it is submitted through HighWire Express, and then HighWire Express processes it and then pushes it up to JCore. So there's not any submit forms or things like that on JCore. It's all behind the scenes. We do have direct publishing that allows you to add new content through the JCore interface, but it's generally, most of the content will go through HighWire Express in a very structured manner.
Other questions? I don't see any other questions at this time. I don't think anyone wants to brave the reverb. So if you have additional questions, please send them to me, Alex Bash, or to Kenneth Gleason, and we will compile them and post them with the video. This will be posted on the product wiki, and I will send out an email giving the location where it is posted. Thanks to everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Technical difficulties. Kenneth, did you have another comment?
What was that, Alex?
Did you have another comment?
Oh, nope. We're all set, and thanks, everyone, for joining.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and good evening to most of you in the UK.